Hello everybody. I had a little helper I guess today that wanted to be on the video. I sat down and somebody just made his way right up here on my lap while I'm trying to make a video. I don't know what he's doing, but I guess he just wanted to say hi. Anyway, I was writing today and I've been writing a book about my journey, I guess you could say. Been doing a lot of self-reflection and a lot of realizations, going deep within myself and really doing some inner work this last year to try to better myself and make myself a better person. And as I was writing today, I had kind of one of those little epiphanies on, I guess, some last little things that I needed to work on. And it was really interesting when I really thought about it, because it really made me go kind of way back into areas that I guess I didn't really think about, you know, because you know when you think about blocks and emotional baggage and a lot of that kind of stuff, you think about things that had happened in the past, like, you know, last week or a year ago, or maybe through a marriage or something in your 20s or 30s or whatever like that. You know, you don't think to go back to like the beginning. You know, you don't think to go back to maybe your childhood or anything like that, especially if you thought you had a really good childhood. So there's really no reason to go back that far, because what was there to be curious about that might have been a block? And it wasn't until I met a friend just recently and we got into some deep, heavy conversations about things. And while I was writing, I kind of went back and kind of thought about what this person had said and what I had said and how similar our stories were. And it really made me think back. You know, if our stories, and we come from two way different backgrounds, if our stories are really closely similar, how many other people out there are really similar to the same type of situation that have maybe some of the same blocks? It really made me think about that. So, you know, one of the things that we had in common was that this person still does, and I have gotten out of it already. It's one of my blocks that I have gotten rid of, is the need to be a workaholic. Now, what is the definition of a workaholic? Somebody that works like all the time, nonstop. And I was that way. You know, I was working, when I was training horses, I was training 10, 12 horses a day, and I was doing it, I was working 7 days a week. And if I wasn't training a horse, I was riding my horses. If I wasn't riding my horses, I was hauling to events or rodeos or some kind of events every weekend. And if I wasn't doing that, I was on a horse doing something, training my horses. So I was pretty much a workaholic. And listening to my friend that I just met, their story, it kind of sounded a lot like mine. And a lot of the emotional part of that sounded a lot like mine too. You know, you're talking about having a lot of emotional baggage, having a lot of depression, turning to possibly food or drinks or some kind of something or substance to numb the pain of your feeling, and burying yourself in work. Now, when I was doing that, I was burying myself in work and working so much. And, you know, being the determined person that I am and being an overachiever and a perfectionist, I was achieving a lot of my goals no matter what. I was putting these goals up and I was meeting them head on and I was accomplishing them. And I think that the point in my life that it really made me sad was no matter what I accomplished, even if I accomplished what was pretty much the impossible for some people, as soon as that was done and I was out of, say, the arena, the victory, you know, the lights, the pictures and everything, there was like this hollow void inside of me. That I was still sad. And I was like, you know, like say for instance, when I had my Gucci mare. I mean, I wanted to really prove myself because nobody thought of me as a barrel racer. They just thought of me as this, you know, colt starter, you know, that just started training colts, which, you know, by the way, was a lie. I've been training colts my whole life since I was a child, you know, and I did barrel racing and everything else, but everybody thought of me as just a colt trainer. So I was going to prove them wrong. I was like, you know, so I bought a mare, Cat, which everybody really knows, and she was green, and you know, she was patterned a little bit, and I put her on the pattern and fixed a lot of her issues and put her right through the paces, right from novice all the way up, you know, and spent 6 years building that mare up, and I won a ton on that mare, and then I sold her to a great home that took her to the American. That was a dream come true for me, you know, but still, everybody's like, well, you know, she just bought that horse. She just bought that horse, and that's what got her there. And that made me mad. I was like, well, I'm going to prove him wrong again. So I had Gucci, which I strategically did the breeding lineage and came up with something that I thought was going to be a winner, and raised that horse how I thought it was going to be a winner to be. And then I trained that horse how I thought it needed to be trained, and I did exactly what I needed to do to be able to prove myself that I could do it. And I did. I did. I took that mare and I did the impossible. In my eyes, and a lot of other people's eyes, I think it shocked the hell out of them. You know, because here I go and take her, you know, and bringing her on up through getting her ready to futurity, and we're just kind of slow-mo going, you know, and everybody's like, oh, you know, that horse should be smoking him, you know, she's a dash to fame, and she's over there just, you know, gallivanting around and loping around the barrels, you know, she's not going to really do much. But when I came to futurity time, and when the money was on the line, it was like, okay, I went in there and I was like, all right, now it's time to prove myself. And I did. I won a lot. You know, I won a lot. I won exactly what I wanted to win. I got the notoriety, I got TV, I got magazines, saddles, sold the horse for more than I ever thought I'd ever sell a horse for, retained 2 embryos. I mean, but when I walked out of the arena after claiming all that victory, I wasn't happy. Isn't that weird? So then it just kind of made me think about this person that I met. And this person was telling me, you know, all the stuff that he's been doing and all the stuff that he's done. And after he was done, I was like, so you've accomplished all that, and how do you feel? And he felt good about his accomplishments. I'm like, well, what did it get you? Well, it got me this, this, and this for awards or whatever. Yeah, but what did it really get you? Were you really content with everything? And of course, his story was kind of like mine. No, not really. You know, it caused a divorce, and it caused a lot of pain and depression and suicide, almost suicide and suicidal thoughts, just like me. So it really made me think. So, burying yourself in work, what does that really do? What is the root cause of that? Now, the root cause of that, and I'm not a psychologist, this is just me talking and me thinking. Okay? And, you know, take it with a grain of salt, because this is just my words and my thoughts. But why was I overworking? Because I was missing something. Now, I was married to who I thought was my soulmate, and I had everything I could ever want. I had a successful career, business, a husband that had a good job, a nice rig. I was making hella money, and I was miserable. I was drowning it in alcohol. I was drowning it in work. And just the thought of that would depress me even more. It's like, I have everything I want. Why am I so unhappy? So when you really think about it, and now I think about it, and it's easy for me to know now, because I've already done the deep healing and going and figuring out my own stuff. I've never been to anybody to have any help with any of my stuff that I brought up. This is stuff that I've done just through meditation and deep thinking and soul searching. But I came up with self-love, and things that were put on you as a child. And talking to my new friend, a lot of what they were going through really stemmed from childhood also. So what is that in common? You have two people that are kind of opposite raisings, but so much similarity. So what I'm looking at is, say, this person that I met has had raising issues with the parents. Say the mother, there were some issues with there, and possibly the father too. But when you look at my childhood I thought was great. I was independent. 6 years old, on a horse on the weekend and gone all day out in the country, out in the woods, riding. I had an awesome childhood. What was I lacking? I wasn't lacking anything. But one thing. I finally figured it out last night, what it was. And, I had no clue what it was. Well, I was raised in the country and kind of like a tomboy. So when it come down to it, I was never really allowed to cry as a child, because every time I cry, I would get told, crying is for sissies. Don't cry, because crying's for sissies. Don't be a big kid, and be tough, be tough, be tough. I've never really thought anything about that, and so I just was raised tough. I was raised tough. I was like, yeah, I'm tough. This is what I'm supposed to do. That's what I was taught to do, and I'm doing it. Give me that 120-pound bale of hay. I'm going to lift it and throw it. Give me any kind of thing I can do, and by God, I'm going to do it to the 9. And it made me tough. It's made me who I am, which is great. But at a very young age, I learned how to hide my feelings, and I learned how to guard my heart so I wasn't hurt, and I wouldn't feel emotion, and I wouldn't cry. And that's the realization that I came up with last night during meditation. And it was kind of like one of those aha moments, It was like, wow. I never really thought about it as a problem, because that's just the way things are. And especially if you're raised in my generation, if you're in your 40s and 50s or older, that's just the way it was. Give me a twitch and you're gonna get your butt beat, and don't cry, be tough, and if you're gonna cry, I'm gonna give you something to cry about. That's just the way we were raised, and that's the way they were raised, and that's the way they were raised. It was generation after generation after generation of the same stuff. So that's just all they knew. That's all you knew. Okay? Now, I'm not saying the discipline is wrong. That's not what I'm saying at all. Because I respect my elders. I respect people. I was taught respect and morals, and I love my parents to death for that. That's what a lot of kids are missing these days, is having that respect, morals, and values for other people and other lives and animals and treating this planet. But also teaching your children, along with morals and values, is to be able to have emotions. It is okay to have emotions. It is okay to cry. Just because you're a man or a boy or a little kid, you shouldn't be taught to hide your emotions. You shouldn't be. Emotions are natural. Emotions are normal. It is scientific fact. It is a scientific fact that suppressing your emotions, what does that cause in the long run? Sickness, disease, anger, death. So that was just something I kind of had to get out. I asked my guides if this is something that I should bring out, and they said yes. And I was like, all right, well, help me find the words to express this on video that people are going to understand. And I'm hoping that you guys understand this. And I'm not doing it in a way to put anybody down, by no means. This is just a way of expressing myself and the things that I'm coming up with that maybe somebody out there might relate with, that maybe somebody has an issue like I had, you know, overworking or closing off your heart, never letting anybody in, you know, never letting anybody in to really love, you know, because when I really did some emotional thinking about it, I don't think I ever really loved anybody. I mean, when you really think about it, you know, I was married, had a couple boyfriends. I mean, I didn't really date very much. But really, when I look back, I mean, did I ever really love anybody? Besides animals. Now, I've always had a love for animals. More, actually, though, than people. Which I just kind of thought about that just now. So, but, you know, animals, they love unconditional. They don't love with condition. They don't live with condition. So that is the only thing that I think I've ever truly given my unconditional love to is animals. And felt such a rapport was with animals. Because there was never any condition put on it. That's kind of deep, I know. Pretty deep. But, you know, it's something to think about. It's something to ponder a little bit, you know. That if you're a little unhappy, or a lot unhappy, or you have addictions to anything, addictions can be anything. Addictions can be to social media, to your phone, to the computer, to drugs, to alcohol, to buying stuff, to, you know, just doing stuff too much. Too much of one thing and not being balanced and having a balanced life is an addiction, whether you like it or not. You can have an addiction to working out. If it's not healthy and you do it too much without a balance of another, it's an addiction. So when you think about your life and you do kind of like a life review, what are you addicted to and why? Why are you addicted to it? You might go back and you might think, you know, okay, I'm addicted to this. Why am I addicted to it? Oh, I love myself. I have self-confidence. Do you? Or do you just portray to have confidence and self-love? So that way nobody bothers you and nobody has to know the real you. Maybe the real you is just screaming to get out. Maybe the authentic you is just screaming to get out. Your inner child. Your inner child is like in a little imprisoned cage inside of you, just screaming, get me out, let me out, let me out. And you're like, no, I'm the adult here. I'm in control. I'm protecting myself. But your inner child is just like children. Just like children. Children are unconditional. Children are like this clean slate. They love unconditionally. They play unconditionally. You know, they dance in the park to a band when nobody else is dancing, and they don't care. Because they're having fun. And we don't judge children when they're playing. We think it's cute. But when an adult goes out by themselves and dances by themselves and acts like a child, we judge them. You know, we judge them. We're like, oh, geez, somebody's had too much to drink, or, oh my God, they're kind of crazy. Look at them acting all stupid. Why do we judge them? Probably because we're jealous that we want to go out there and do it too. I seen a little kid in Fort Worth was it a weekend or two ago when I went to the rodeo. And nobody was out there dancing, out there in the park. But this little girl, she was out there just twirling and kicking and having fun and doing flip-flops and just getting down and having a blast. And I was just smiling. I wanted to go out there and dance with her. I mean, we forget to how to play and how to be unconditional and how to love unconditionally because we're so gosh darn guarded. We're so scared of being hurt, and we're so scared of failing, and we're so scared of doing the wrong things that we forget to live, and we forget that we are here to experience life. We're experiencing life. You can't experience life if you're so guarded all of the time. Because when you're guarded, you don't take risks. You don't dance in the rain. You don't dance in the park by yourself to the music. You miss out on so many things when you're guarded. So, anyway, that was just something that I thought that I was supposed to get out today. There's a little part about, my story that I'm writing in my book, and how to heal yourself, and how to be the best version of you. How to be the authentic version of you. Not what everybody wants you to be. Not what everybody thinks you should be. Because only you know what is best for you. And only you know what you want and what really makes your light shine. Nobody else. Don't be afraid of being different. Because we all need something a little different in our lives. Different is what makes the world go around. Don't be afraid to let your light shine, even if your light shines pink or purple. Okay? Anyway, I hope you guys like this. If you do, like, click share, click subscribe, whatever. I'm just trying to get my messages out there. Trying to help people as much as I can. This is just a little step. Hopefully I can get in the right direction. My goals for everything is to start. I really want to be a motivational speaker and travel and give lectures and everything and help. Once I get my healing finished, I want to be able to teach people how to do this. It's hard, let me tell you, but once you've been through it, it's a lot easier to put it into words to help others to go through it and see the things that may not be seen. I'm so blessed and lucky to have my angels and guides with me and helping me, because if it wasn't for that, I'd be lost. But I can quiet my mind now and meditation and able to listen and hear what I'm supposed to hear. And it's amazing, the answers I get. I've sure saved my money out of going to a psychologist. My angels are my psychologists, and they don't even charge me. It's awesome. So, anyway, I hope you guys like this video. Until the next time, guys, bye.